Hello everyone, in this video we will study the terminology related to the genetics. In the previous video we have already discussed who was Mendel, on which plant he experimented and why he chose that plant. So if you have not watched that video yet, please do so and please do subscribe to my channel. Let's get started. The first term which we are using is of course genes. Now, till the time Mendel was alive, he has never used this word gene, but the later scientists who experimented upon his work, they used this word. So, till the time Mendel was alive, he used the word factor in place of gene. This is important. Now, let's get started with what are genes actually. You know that in each cell of the human body, 46 chromosomes are there. And that 46 chromosomes are divided into two parts. One are the autosomes and another are your sex chromosomes. So if you have not watched my video on sex determination, please do so because it will help you in understanding what are autosomes and the sex chromosomes. So we have in each body cell 22 pairs of autosomes and one pair is the sex chromosome. If any individual is female, then the sex chromosomes are XX. If the sex of the human being is male, then the sex chromosomes are going to be XY. Now let's talk about a pair of chromosomes. A chromosome generally looks like this, and the chromosomes in a pair, like here I have said that 22 pairs are there. So there would be 22 pairs. Here I have just shown one pair to you, and the chromosomes of the pair, they are known as homologous chromosomes. Why are they said as homologous? Because the position, the locus of the genes on them is same. So suppose if any individual is tall, or let's talk about the pea plant that is tall, it must be having certain chromosomes, and on that chromosomes these genes are located. So in the case of homologous chromosome, you can see that the position is also known as locus, right? So locus of genes, you can see that in the homologous chromosome is same. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe my channel. Don't forget to press the bell icon for the recent updates. And what is allele? This is also very important. What is allele? Allele means the contrasting form of a gene. So if I am, for example, we are talking about tallness or the tall character of a pea plant. Now this tallness, it could be because of the alleles capital T, or it could be because of capital T, small t. Remember, tallness was the dominant trait, and whenever we take the alphabet, it is always according to the first alphabet of the dominant trait. So we are talking about the tallness, which is a dominant trait. So that's why I have taken capital T. That means if these are the chromosomes which I have drawn here, and these are chromosomes which are controlling the tallness in the pea plant, then it could be capital T or capital T, or it could be capital T or small t. Means these are the contrasting form of a gene, and contrasting form of the gene, they are always known as allele. Remember, capital letter is always used to show dominant condition, and exactly the small letter should be of T only. So it will define, the small t will define the recessive condition. Dominant means the one that will be able to express. Suppose you have a fight with the wrestler Khali. Who has the better probability to win? Of course Khali, because he has got more strength. Similarly, when dominant and recessive allele like capital T and small t will be there, this small t never express. It can only express itself when the same allele will be there. Right? This is very, very important, that the tallness could be due to of two alleles. It could be capital T, or it could be small t. Let's take one more example to clarify your concept. We knew that the seed shape was also available in two contrasting forms. One was round and another was wrinkled. So this character might have been located on the genes only, and that is why it was giving expression to the pea plant. So how to find out what would be the alleles? Now see here, dominant is the round one. So one thing is sure, that to show the alleles we would be using which letter? Yes, we would be using R. If the plant is possessing round seeds, then round seeds could be denoted by capital R, capital R, small r. Remember, this is a dominant trait. That is why one R should compulsorily be there. Otherwise, the expression will change to recessive. So, the expression of round could be capital R, or it could be capital R or small r. But wrinkled is the one which is the recessive condition, and you already know, I explained it here, that recessive condition will only express when recessive will be there. So we have to take the small form of this letter only, R, and it would become small r. Now let's study what is phenotype. You have already seen that allele, they could be written like, for tallness it could be written like capital T, or it could be capital T, small t, or it could be written as small t. Now what is phenotype? Phenotype is the morphological expression of an organism. Now here, if pea plant had capital T alleles, then the expression of it would be tall. If it had capital T, small t, then expression was also tall, because recessive will never express alone. It need another recessive allele to express itself. Here the condition is like that. Recessive allele is present with the recessive allele. So expression here of course will be dwarf. So phenotype is the morphological expression of an organism, how an organism looks. So here this tall and dwarf, they are the phenotypes. Now let's move ahead and understand what is genotype. Let's see here, I have written the alleles, and these alleles could be capital T, small t, or small t. Genotype means the allelic combinations that are present that will define the phenotype. So here this capital T, small t are the allelic combinations. Means if dominant allele is present with the dominant allele, like in this case, this is the genotype. Capital T allele is present with small t allele. This is again defining a genotype. Means which allelic combination is there. Here another allelic combination is shown by small t. So these are the genotypes that will actually define the morphology or the phenotype of the individual. Now we will understand three more terms. These are homozygous dominant, homozygous recessive, heterozygous dominant. Now here the word homo means similar, and hetero will always means dissimilar. So means when alleles will be similar to each other, the condition will become homozygous. When the alleles will be dissimilar to each other, of course the condition will become heterozygous. So let's see here, homozygous dominant. Now you know that if we are talking about the tallness of a plant, then the dominant allele is capital T. But here the word which we have used as a prefix is homozygous. That means the allele combination will be capital T. Means Here, this individual can also be known as homozygous dominant because this individual has two similar alleles and those are dominant. Now see here, homo word is there along with the zygous, means in the zygote conditions, the alleles will be similar to each other and the alleles are going to be recessive. So if you are talking again about the plant height, then the allele for the recessive is small t. So this here small t can also be known as homozygous recessive. What is heterozygous dominant? Heterozygous means dissimilar alleles will be present, but the suffix is dominant. That means we have to take one capital T definitely, as the condition is heterozygous. That means the next allele will be small t. So see here, this is of one type, this is of another type. They both are dissimilar to each other. So this condition is known as heterozygous dominant. Now let's understand what is a monohybrid cross, dihybrid cross and trihybrid cross. Now mono means 1, di means 2 and tri means 3. That means when you will take just one character at a time, you have studied 7 characters in the P that were plant height, seed color, seed shape, pod color, pod shape, etc. If you are taking just one character at a time, suppose you have taken plant height and then you are studying the genetics of it, then it will be known as monohybrid cross. If you are taking 2 characters at a time, suppose you have taken this plant height as well and you have taken seed shape as well. So you have taken how many characters? 2. And you are studying the genetics of those 2 characters, then the cross will be known as dihybrid. Now here, if you will take 3 characters, then it will become a trihybrid cross. Suppose you have taken both these. Along with that, you have also taken pod shape. So if you will study 3 characters at a time and you are studying the genetics of it, then it will be known as a trihybrid cross. The next 2 terms are F1 generation and F2 generation. Suppose I am talking about your parents. So parents are there and they undergo sexual reproduction to produce their offspring. So, of course, 2 parents will be there. One would be male and another would be female. So, they signify our parents and they produce the offsprings like us. So, we offsprings show the F1 generation, right? F stands for filial. That means if parents cross together, the offsprings that are produced, these offsprings are known as F1 generation. Now what is F2 generation? Now let's start with grandparents, right? Grandma and grandpa, right? They, by sexual reproduction, they have produced the parents, right? So our grandparents, they are the parental generation. They will produce the F1 generation, and when F1 generation will interbreed or sexually reproduce, it will produce the F2 generation, right? So suppose if we are talking about a family with parents, parents will produce F1 generation. When F1 generation will sexually reproduce, then they will produce F2 generation. So this can go on and on. F1 will produce F2, F2 will produce F3, or F3 will further produce F4, and so on and so forth. These are the main terms which you must know before starting with the Mendel experiments. The remaining terms will be taught to you in the crosses that will be taken further. So stay tuned.